Eggman here with another video, and before we start, we've got like a bunch of shoutouts. First of all, thank you to my brother for making that intro. He did the entire animation. I just put the music on there, so I'm not sure if the music sounds right yet, but I just wanted to use the intro, and it was awesome. I didn't even ask for it. I really just woke up yesterday, and he's like, "Hey, I couldn't sleep last night, so the entire night I just spent, making this intro. So thank you, Cameron, my brother. Really appreciate it. It looks really cool, and I hope you guys like it as well. Also, shoutouts to everyone who helped me build this deck and just put it together and everything. We've got Abe, we've got Tyler, we've got Dom, we've got Joseph, and we also have Corey from DBS Midwest. He's also a content creator. He's going to have his his link to his videos in the description below as well. He makes content for the Midwest as well, and also like recording locals and doing live streams and stuff like that. So definitely follow him for some events and stuff. And let's get into the Ding Dang deck. So we've got Cell Surge, one of my favorite leaders, as you guys probably can think and surmise from all the events I've taken him to, but really good. If you don't know what he does by now, so he's a Surge leader, so he's green-yellow. But he has his active main once per turn is what I really like about him. So he has his active main that says, look at the top 5 cards from your deck, add 1 to your hand, just any of them, and then choose 1 card in your hand, put it in your drop area, then shuffle your deck. So when this card first came out, a lot of people were just like, oh, it doesn't technically +1. Sure, you get to look at top 5 cards for anything, but it's not that good. But my goodness, it's just a cool effect, especially with some other cards. You'll see how good the effect this is in so many ways. So really like it. He is for his Surge, he's an untap 2, draw 2. You put a green and yellow, and he flips over to this guy. And of course, I have to have the stamped one because it's my favorite leader. But active main once per turn. If you're at 4 or less life, which used to be kind of cumbersome, but now that we have like some with the new 9-drop super rare, it's really easy to get from 5 life to 4 life. So your opponent really has to keep you at like 6 life if they want to make sure you can't use your effects. But he has 2 great effects. He's either one, you can choose 1 card after dropping one of the cards. Your opponent's all the battle cards your opponent's plays are in rest mode, which make it really easy to survive extra turns. This pretty much says buy you an extra turn a lot of the time, which is really great. So you can just tap out, don't be not be afraid of a lot of things, and then go there. This is a little bit worse now because it doesn't Unisons aren't battle cards, so Unisons can be played in active mode and swing. But there's that, and then also it has on the second one is you just KO something and make your opponent discard 1, and you get to choose a card as well. So normally the first effect is you use that to make sure you get 1 more turn, and then you use the second effect to really go deep, just go ham and go in and see if you can win. So really like this leader, one of my favorites, and let's go into the cards. So first off, with all the Unison cards, we gotta play my favorite Unison. I do have a new favorite, and he's super cheap. It's this Demigra. He's really, really good, and he helps with this leader so much. You definitely want to see him turn 1 every game, and he can pretty much find you using this with 50 cards in your deck and 4 of these. It's really easy to find this turn 1. I don't think it's super rare that I don't get this turn 1, and it's really helpful. What does he do? So the most important thing about him is his permanent is if this card would lose a marker from an opponent's attack, you may add 1 card from your life to your hand instead. So it just helps you self-awaken with this guy, which you're not doing anyways. You don't self-awaken yourself. So having this, and you can get 2 counters on him turn 1 too, which also means that you can get out these 4 Friezas, or these 3 SPR Friezas and 1 cheap Frieza, poor man Frieza. But this card's fantastic at blowing up your opponent, just disrupting your opponent really easily. But this card's really good. And then so you just play this turn 1, and you just keep giving it tokens, keep taking life when you get hit, and then you can do its -3, and then you just get to pop 2 of your opponent's cards. So you just choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, any cost of 3 or less, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So this card can be really good for disrupting Universe 11. Invoker, this card makes Invoker a really easy matchup, especially since we're doing hand destruction. But we're trying to win on turn 3, turn 4. So if they try to play their Vegeta Invoker, you can just pop it with this -3, and they can't do anything about it. And then they have this handful of extra cards that they can't do anything with. So really like this guy, and just the fact that he's a 1 energy 15k attacker that is in a Unison, which means you can't interact with him as much, is super good. So like this card a lot. We have this Frieza running 4 of him, but he's also a green 5-drop. My goodness, and so that means we're also running 3 of these Amasus. Because we can just play this for 1 energy, and then it's a 20k with Indestructible that can take cards out of our opponent's hand, and we're playing hand destruction, so it sounds really good. So I know this card's kind of expensive. If you don't have this card, I don't think it's super needed in this deck. But if you only have 2, I'd say if you have 2, definitely run it. I mean, if you have any of these, you can. I wouldn't say more than 3. This card isn't needed, but he does help sometimes clinch out games and everything. Just because he's a 20k, your opponent can't get rid of him. And then you can also, he's really good going first because you try to finish on turn 3 or turn 4. So you can play this on turn 3, and then you can have it. You almost guarantee to have another swing on turn 4 as well. So really good, and just helps out get some more value out of this 5-drop. All right, so there's that. Next up, so the kind of main engine of this deck is the Xeno engine. So we have 4 of each one of these cards. Let's put it here. There we go. So we got 4 Surprise Attack Frieza, and it is really easy for this deck to KO cards. We've got our Demigrows that we were talking about. He can just KO something with -3, but also if you have, if you do, a good opening hand is having this Demigrow out, is having this Frieza in hand, and having the other, this Frieza in hand too. So if you do this, your opponent plays anything. You just play the Demi, freeze it, and then surprise attack it, and then you're good to go. Feels really good. And even if you're playing against a Vegito deck, you going first against Vegito, if you have those cards, you can just pop their 1-drop, and then they can't. It's on their turn, and so they can't do their stuff, which is really, really good. But yeah, so you can get this out for free, swing with it, and then you can use your 1-star ball. So what this card does is that you can choose 1 Frieza card with any cost of 4 in your battle area. Place this card under it. Play 1 green Frieza Xeno card in your deck or hand on top of the chosen card in active mode. Then shuffle your deck, and if you look through it, so you get this boy, this Frieza Dark Infestation. So you just get it for free. And then if you get it for free, so it's double strike unique. Auto, if your opponent has 3 or more energy, when this card is removed from a battle area by a skill or KO'd, add up to 1 green extra card with any cost of 1 or less from your drop area to your hand. So you can just recycle the ball, but you can also get some other things. He also has this active mains to place this card in his owner's drop area, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand, and discard it. So this card is just really, he's a double striker, right? So he's really good to get out for free. He has a lot of pressure. He's really good at pressuring Unison cards as well, because you can just have a Unison go from 2 counters to 0 with him, and it's 15k double strike, so it's guaranteed because they can't combo with Unisons. So I really like this card. And then it's probably for the best that his auto to KO himself or to recycle card is based off of having your opponent having 3 or more energy. But if it wasn't, this card would be super duper gas, because you can get this at turn 2 super easy, and then just pressure your opponent. And the discard 1 from hand as well is good. So that's kind of the main kind of way we kind of poke at our opponent and punish them for playing cards. Some other cards we're doing, we've got 4 of this and 3 of this. I'm lending some out, but this is the ratios I had. I would say I would do no less than 3 of these Rebrand and no less than 2 of these Gokus. We have a bunch of flex energy because a lot of the stuff we do is for free. So we almost always use Rebrand turn 2, and then I guess Goku if we can't. But this is such a good card, especially on turn 3. If we have, it's really easy for you guys to get Rebrands into our drop area. And so if we could just do on turn 3, we can use 2 energy, Rebrand, Awaken, 2 energy again, and then make them drop 2 cards again. It just feels really good. So I like that. It helps out the deck a bunch, and it's just a good card for sure. Talking about a good card, we also have our Cell, the Dark Parasite. He's fantastic for just awakening us, and this is really important for this deck. We want to kind of awaken as soon as we can, usually on turn 2 or turn 3, and this makes sure we just can get there. Just the fact that he also draws 1 and also takes 1 from our life. So if we need to, it's good against hand destruction too. Because if we want to make sure that we can awaken, if we just have this in our drop area, we draw 2. And as long as we get a yellow card, because all of our cards are green at least, then we can make sure to get this. So really, really helpful. You can also play him on turn 4 for free. We almost always just discard this card from our hand, but he can also be a good finisher because he's just a big 30k single strike that you can play for free. So fantastic card. You definitely need 4 of this guy in this deck, and in pretty much any Cell Surge deck you're running. For our super combo, we're running 4 of Dr. Gero, Progenitor of Terror. So I think 4 is the right number. If you want to run any other super combos, I would say that you can either run the Zamasu one, you can run the blue yellow Zamasu, you can run Paragus because we get to 4 life pretty easy, or you can also run the what's the other one I'm thinking about? Oh man, I'm blanking. Or Android 18. Android 18 that makes them put 1 card on the bottom of the deck. This card is simply good because we just want to make sure we find our Rebrands, and that's our turn 2 play most of the time, so that's really helpful. We're also running 2 of these Android 18s, and the only reason we're running this is simply because we keep our hand size low, so this is just a free 10k combo as long as we have 5 or less cards in our hand. So this is really just the need for this. If you don't have this card, you don't need it. So you can replace it with something else. It just helps you extend that. So that's really good. And then we also have 3 of these rebrands rival cards. So I chose this one because one is for only 1 green. It's a 20k, so that's pretty good value, especially if you like use one of these green yellows to combo for free. But you use this card to pop something with 4 or less, and since it pops something, that means it activates your surprise attack Frieza. This could also pop your opponent's cards during their this could be a really good defensive card as well. So I really like this one. If you don't like this card, you can also... Another card I was really thinking about was... I have it here. The Krillin and Android 18 power couple. This pretty much is like the same thing. It's a 20k for a rival for 1 green. You can either make your opponent discard a card, or you can get rid of like Double Strike or something from it's just a battle card, right? A battle card in rest mode. So that's fine. You can use either one of those. Which one? These are just cheaper, honestly. And I think this one's slightly better, but Android 18 and Krillin can definitely be a contender for a card as well. All right, and then we've got Frieza. This is probably like the weakest card in the deck. I just ran 2. It's kind of interesting. So when this card is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill, you draw 2. And activating for 1 green, you can choose 1 green Frieza card with any cost of 4 in your hand or drop area and play on top of this card in active mode. So like the idea of this card was simply like turn 3, turn 4. We really just need a lot of swings. We play this for 2, swing in, then pay 1 green. Is it played in active mode? Yeah, on top of an active mode. So you pay 1 green, and then you get the surprise attack Frieza, so 15k crit. And then you can just go into like the double strike Frieza, Xeno as well. So like for 3 energy, you get 3 swings and can do up to 4 damage. So I thought that was alright. It's not great. You can definitely change this card out for something else, but that was just a consideration for there. And then lastly, our extra cards are, we've got 3 Shocking Death Ball and 2 Chain, Cells, Earth Destroying Kamehameha. This card's good because it KOs stuff, so if you somehow don't find Demi turn 1, you can play this, and if they have like a 1-drop they swing with, then you can just pop it, and then you can play your surprise attack. Cells Earth Destroying Kamehameha is just really good for defense and can like pop cards from your opponent's hand, so just great for there. We're running mono green too, so it makes sense there. And also the Frieza Xeno card, the 4-drop that I'll find real quick. Hopefully quick. Increasingly quick. There it is. So it just says an extra card with any energy cost of 1 or less. So you can definitely get either of these cards back as well, which can be very helpful. So that's just another consideration. So if like you're going in, like you need to like get a negate next turn, you can get this. Or if you want to be more aggressive, you can get Cells, Earth Destroying Kamehameha, and just go from there. Or you can just get the ball back and then try to do the same combo next turn. So that's the main deck. I don't have a side deck because this is a best of 1. So some other cards, if I did have a sideboard, some cards I'd think about putting in there are, I've already talked about that one. There we go. So I would say, yeah. So originally this deck came around because I wanted to play Meki and in the deck, and I wanted to run both combos, like both of the Dark Dragon Balls at the same time. So I ran this card. He's still probably good, and if you're playing against certain decks, he could be really helpful. And you're playing the balls anyway, so you +1 from him. He just costs 2, which is kind of clunky. He's a good card. We've got Super Saiyan Bardock, just another Unison. He could be good. We don't run a lot of 1-drops. Also be something you'd want to use. Originally, as I was saying, we had this card in our main deck, so I think this is still a really good card to have in our side, because if we're playing against something that would warrant that this would be our finisher, then we can do it, because we can solve it for energy super quickly, and we just have to be more conservative about our Cell Xenos. But this can definitely be a good card, and can help us out. So that's just some ideas, not super helpful, but that's that. And that's really the deck. It's really short and simple. It's kind of expensive, so sorry about that. If you need any like budget options, let me know. But you kind of do need, I would say, Zamasus. These are not required. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. If you don't have these cards, they're not required either, so don't worry about it. These 2 are kind of just more flex cards, but you do need 4 of these. You do need at least 3 of these, and you do need at least 2 of... Where's the Goku? Where's that $80 card? Where is he? 2 of the Goku. 2 of the 2-drop ape Goku. Wherever he went. I don't know where he went. That's okay. I'll find him. But yeah, definitely need him, at least 2 of, just to help you draw cards later in the game. He will help you. There he is. There is the sneaky monkey. So you want at least 2 of him. And that will get you to like that's like the minimum cost for this deck. It's not running the secret rare because we won't have like 12 energy on board, And I think that's really it. So that's the deck. Let me know what you guys think. There's also a bunch of gameplay of it. There will be the link to the live stream that I was playing with it on Friday as well, where I went 4-1. Real quick, my matchups, if I can remember them. Broly Surge, I beat. Invoker, I beat. I lost to a Reboot Gohan. It was really embarrassing. It was like 10 minutes. That's a really hard counter to this deck, in my opinion. I played a Vegex with the Boo engine, round 1. I ended up playing... I got 5th, but I had the same score as Russell Stelzer, and so we played a tiebreaker, and I lost to his Vegito deck, Mono Blue, and I think I played a Dredge Coup. I probably played a Dredge Coup. I can't remember the other guy. Oh, I played a Trunks. I played a Blue Trunks with the new Trunks without the, but he didn't have the stuff because of Untap. So I'd like to see that leader with like the engine he can play, but that's kind of restricted to in-person play. But that's what I played. Only lost to the Reboot Gohan and technically the Vegito Star deck. But really good. I think it was a fun deck, and definitely not traditional Cell, because normally you want to do like successor stuff and be kind of mid-range control-y, but this is really hand destruction and aggressive, which are two things I really wanted to work on, because that's not usually my style of playing, but this was a more fun event, and it still paid off. So that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.